Good morning. It is probably 11:45 a.m. Mountain Time on what is today? Sunday. Let's see, 21, 2, 22nd? Yeah, 2016. God, when I'm on vacation, I lose all track of this stuff. Oh, right, there's the camera. Oh. So I am at Denver International Airport, and recording this later in the day than I would have typically because, of course, I had a busy morning getting to the airport and all of that and seeing off various other family members, saying goodbye. And, it was a quick trip. And I was definitely feeling like I wish I would have had more time to spend with various family members because, the whole weekend in this case was really kind of taken up by the wedding and all of the attendant activities, which was wonderful, and I'm so proud of my little brother. Everything went great at the ceremony, and it's a very happy occasion. But in terms of being a vacation, it's kind of exhausting. It's not a relaxing trip. It's not a trip where I get to just hang out with family members. It's more like everybody's doing stuff, which is good. But it would have been nice to have a longer trip where I was able to kind of chill out with everybody. But in this case, because this coming weekend is Balticon, yay Balticon! I needed to have a few days back at home to prepare for that in between the two trips, and so that was the reason for this trip being so short. And so, you have to make these choices in life, right? But the trip, like I said, the wedding was great. Got dressed up all fancy. Hopefully I'll be able to get you guys some good pictures of that. I put out some on Twitter of me sort of taking everything out, washing off the makeup and taking my hair down. My hair is kind of still all curly. Look at that. From having it done up yesterday and wearing a bridesmaid's dress and all that stuff. Stuff that's very atypical for me. I very rarely dress up fancy, much less have a dress. And it's my stepsister who did the hair and makeup, but she does actually do it for a living, so it technically is a professional job. And that's just stuff that I don't usually do. It's kind of neat to do it on occasion, even though wearing a dress and that sort of stuff so seldom makes me feel very self-conscious when I do it. But I got a lot of compliments, I think probably just because I look so different than I usually do, that everyone's like, oh wow, look at you, and that sort of thing. But yeah, it was fun, and like I said, the weather was perfect, the venue was beautiful. One of the neat things about the lodge where everything was happening, they had a bunch of hummingbird feeders outside, and a lot of hummingbirds, more than I've ever seen in one place before. Literally to the point where you might be seeing 6 or 7 of them at once. And they're all zipping around each other and dive bombing each other, chasing each other around the feeders like little helicopter fighter jets. It's pretty funny. They're very cool. And I actually got a picture that I might put on Instagram or something like that of one hit a window and kind of stunned itself, although it seemed uninjured otherwise. And I have a picture of my mom holding it in her hand briefly. It's just this little tiny thing. It's very cute. And as far as we could tell, it flew away fine later. I mean, we left it on a branch and it wasn't there later. So I think it was okay, and it was just neat. There were lots of hummingbirds around. And then the food was good and everything went well, and it was not it was an outdoor ceremony and the weather was nice, and there were no substantial mishaps other than my brother. He set up one of his extra cameras to get extra footage, like they had a photographer, but he was doing one of his own things too, and apparently that got broken during the ceremony when the tripod tipped over. But these things happen, and they all become part of the narrative, right? That's just how they go. And so it was a wonderful trip, and got to spend time with probably spent the most time with my mom and my Uncle Brad and my half-sister Debbie. And, it was good. We were all hanging out at this condo, although it was very vertical. Lots of stairs, which, given the altitude was bugging me, was not my favorite thing. But you know, that's what you get in the mountains. In any case, I gotta get over to my gate because I'm going to be boarding before too very long here. So I will go ahead and sign off for now, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow for 5 more minutes.